What is going on, guys? Winner Kills here. We are back with another matchup. This is the last video I have of me playing this build. I'm actually really excited to in the future be playing a different deck. I plan on picking up Spellbooks. The deck is pretty much almost completed. And I'm also thinking about picking up Goki Nightmare as well, as I have most of the cards for it. It's just a matter of ordering most of the Goki stuff, which luckily isn't too expensive. So and Photon Galaxy as well. I cannot wait for Cybernetic Horizon to come out once we get Hyperstar. Hopefully I'll be able to play Photon Galaxy then as well, because I think the deck will be super strong with Photon Sanctuary, etc., etc. But this is the last matchup that I have of me playing this build. Of pure Mermail. It's just like an OTK build. I'm not playing it anymore. Keep in mind, as you all know, I'm playing the Nightmare engine that focuses heavily on going first as opposed to going second like this one does. Turn one, he's able to get that Widow Anchor set. Gets the multi-roll playoff with the Kazuchu or whatever its name is. I know Kagari and is the fire one, and Shizuku is the water one, my bad. But he does have the Widow Anchor. He won't be able to steal it. He'll be able to get the Forbidden Chalice effect, which is enough to stop the Teia search, and then Ash Blossom coming down for the 1-for-1, so pretty unlucky there. And I think my Teia is being dropped, looks like by 200 attack, based on the effect of Shizuku, putting my Teia down to 15. So at this point, I can crash, but I just think it's best not to do so. But I also have a normal summon at my disposal as well, so I can normal summon the Atlantean Dragoons if I had really desired to do so. And then he'll use multi-roll to set that startup engage to his side of the field. He'll set one. I believe it might have been the card he drew for turn, which is Metal Foes Fusion. He'll target that with multi-roll. And then now I think for the rest of the turn, all his spells are spell speed 4, so I can't activate anything in response to them. Which isn't too big of a deal, because I'll still be able to use the Droll Knockbird in my hand right when he goes to, of course, shuffle it back. And once he draws here, I'll be able to Droll Knockbird. Looks like he drew into another hand trap. Looks like it was Effect Valor. And no more searching for him for the rest of the turn, which is pretty good, since I believe he does have a set startup engage right there that he set back with multi-roll or Shizuku. Still unfamiliar with some of the brandish cards. They've got a lot of cards at their disposal, and they all do pretty different things when you look at it in the grand scheme. So right now, Teia is still being dropped by a little bit, but definitely not enough for Shizuku to get over. He's going to go ahead and pass right there. Luckily, I'm not able to draw into something too fantastic. It's just another infantry I think I ended up drawing into. But I have that Dragoons in hand in order to make the normal summon. To invest another card just to get this Shizuku off the field. He will be able to summon out Ray once it dies, but I really don't have any better option. I either sit there and swing my Teia into defense, or I could try to get some damage in at this point. And that's really all I'm trying to go for. Is I know I'm going to get out-resourced heavily in this matchup. This is a very difficult matchup no matter what build of Mermail you play. And it's just very easy to get outpaced. With a lot of decks, not even just Mermail. Most decks play against this. Getting outpaced is pretty common. But I'm able to beat over with the Teia, and then crash into his Ray, not crash, but be able to get that off the field, put it back in the graveyard, so he does not have the opportunity to use the tribute effect, to summon out another link for free. Obviously, he could just link it away anyways without using the effect. Terraforming for the Sky Zone field spell, Area 0 or whatever it's called. That one, I believe you target and destroy a card, and you mill. That's the field spell effect, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and use a multi-roll to destroy it to have the spell speed 4 ability gained, and then he's going to use the effect of the field spell to summon out a Sky Striker monster from his deck. Of course, it's going to be the only one that he can, and that's Ace Ray, which will give him the opportunity to either just link one or use the attribute effect. Could be pretty beneficial if you had a card like Darkest Diabolos in his hand or graveyard. You're going to flip up that set startup engage. That's going to be banished, though, because it was brought back by Shizuku, which I believe it can reset one in the end phase, but once it leaves the field after that, it is banished, which is, it's a pretty decent trade-off, but not too much to hurt the deck. He'll get a draw as well to resolve the engage, as he does have 3 or more spells at the time of activation. Speaking of, like, banishing spells, the Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell is such a fantastic side deck card against this deck. Another card, personally, that me and a few Discord members have chatted about is Hey Trunade. It's actually not terrible. You go ahead and flip all those, return all those set cards back to the hand, and then there's no Widow Anchor you really have to worry about, and then you can just kind of feel free to go ahead and do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about Widow Anchor, or the Shark card, or the drones, or of course they can chain, but it's not really that optimal for them in most cases. We'll use the multi-roll, set a few back, even the field spell included. Drew Namori of Greed. Of course, right now is the time that I end up drawing into it, which is pretty unlucky. But it is what it is. Not really too much you can do about that in the first place. Luck will always play a factor into any build, and whatever you see. He's going to use Foolish Burial Goods there to send Hercules base to the grave. I'm going to go ahead and link off the Shizuku for the Kagari, and add back the Hercules base to his hand. Pretty much from what I understand, the card is only played to have that recycling effect. Going to go ahead and use the field spell, mill, or excavate 3, return the others, add that jamming wave, and then he's going to go ahead and use Hercules base here to recycle. Looks like 3 extra deck monsters. I think he might change a target. Yeah, change a few targets there. Put back some more extra deck monsters. As obviously, since we don't have the wind Sky Striker Hayate, it's pretty easy, I should say, to run through your extra deck monsters pretty fast, especially since you just tag out. You're gonna start your turn with the fire, you know, the Kagari, then into the Shizuku for the end phase, and that's at least 2 extra deck monsters gone a turn, which statistically, theoretically, only gives you about 3 turns before all of them are gone. Why the Hercules base will come in clutch a lot of times to help give you back the cards that you need to help keep fueling your engine. Luckily, I'm able to draw into another water here. It's going to make that Moria Greed live. Really hoping for some good draws here. Teus and double Aqua Spirit. It would have been enough to, you know, maybe make a rank 4, but it's not the greatest. I start my turn here pretty strong. The Deep Sea Diva comes down. He has Ash Blossom. I chain the Called By. He does banish it later, so don't worry. But I'm able to go into Diva, into Neptibus, Send Dragoons, Add Dragoons, and Megalo. Feeling real good here. Gonna be able to get a solid turn going. Being able to pitch that Called By, no problem, no hesitation. 100% willing to do that. Gonna go ahead and link 2 into my Starboy here. Not too many crazy link plays going to be happening. Just the classic play you'd expect. Megalo 2 and Dragoons 1. Technically, it'd be Megalo 2, Marksman, or Megalo 3, Marksman 2, Dragoons 1. And this is when I was still playing the Mizuchi, so still pretty beneficial in this matchup. I also drew a Twin Twister for turn as well, so seeing quite a few side deck cards. He's going to start his turn with 3 cards. Since he did use the Ash Blossom, and another Ash Blossom, and an Afterburner out of his hand, so feeling pretty good there. Have the Twin Twister with the Moray of Greed in hand as discard fodder, so pretty good start for me. I've got a Spell in the Gate. I've got Twin Twisters to clear set cards if need be. And starting his turn with just 3 cards. That's a 3,300 Moulin Glacia, a 3,700 Megalo, and a 1,900 Starboy. Of course, Megalo getting the 500 from the Starboy, and then the additional 800 from the Mizuchi. So there's the Ash Blossom being banished earlier for the Called By, as it should have been. Very strong turn, though. And I can only imagine if I was actually playing the Link build, the heavy Link build with Nightmares at this point, you know, it would have probably been a pretty good turn had I been able to, you know, pull off a few combos uninterrupted. Foolish Burial getting activated, send Darkest Diabolos. Normal summoning Ray, tributing away for Kagari, and that's going to trigger the Diabolos, and he'll add back the Afterburner as well. So now, Kagari being on the field, he will be dropped by 400 attack and defense due to Mastarboy's other effect that a lot of people sometimes overlook, which, you know, all fire monsters lose 400 attack and defense, and all waters gain 500 attack and defense. Much like Mrs. Radiant makes wind monsters lose 400 attack and defense, and Hyperstar makes dark monsters lose 400 attack and defense. So you can go ahead and check my graveyard there, see what I've got for waters. And now that Shizuku is on board, that in and of itself will be gaining 500 attack and defense due to Mastarboy. It's a bit of a drawback, which is kind of unlucky. He'll use that to run over the Mastarboy since Shizuku is at 2,000 due to the attack boost. No spells engraved. I think maybe one spell might be Foolish Burial. And then at this point, I'll be able to add back Neptibus, and then he's going to use Darkest Diabolos to run over the Moulinglace. Luckily, I have 2 cards in my hand, and I'm forced to get rid of one, which is really unlucky. I'm going to put the Moray to the bottom of the deck, and, you know, I could have live material in hand, you know, just discard fodder in general had he not had that play available. I think it's smart in his behalf to get rid of the Diabolos, even though I wouldn't have a real way to out it had he not done that, but it's just to clear his field, keep his engine live. He's going to grab a Startup Engage during the end phase off of the Shizuku effect, I believe, and no set. So it actually kind of works out well for me that I don't have that other card that I need to fuel the Twin Twister. I'm still able to get my Dragoons play off here with the Prince. Now, this turn, granted, there is still a Ray Engrave, which could come out after I kill the Shizuku. The only possible way I win this turn is if I'm able to make a Dweller with like a 2 double attacking Megalos. It's just very hard to pull off with the limited resources I have in my hand. So I'm able to go into the Link Karibo, which I think is good on its own. That'll prevent him from being able to run over my Gaios that I'm about to make, you know, just by simply summoning out his Diabolos. It's obviously easy run over, even though I guess technically Gaios will prevent him from attacking in the first place. And I use Infantry is going to have to be activated mandatory to go ahead and summon out the Ray. And now I can go into Gaios. I can't attack this turn because Moulinglacia did leave the field last turn. This is, of course, my next battle phase, or what would be my next battle phase in the sequence. And it's just, at this point, I don't think it's worth using the Gaios effect. He's not going to opt to tag out in the end phase. Maybe perhaps fearing the Gaios effect if I go to activate it. I still have the set Twin Twister, which isn't doing me any good right now. I would much rather that be an Imperial Order, which I did side in, but of course it being a one-of card to side in, very hard to, you know, bank on drawing that card as a one-of. He's going to tribute for Shizuku. Not going to use Diabolos, though, interestingly enough. Going to activate the Startup Engage to go ahead and search for the multi-roll. Going to go ahead and get some plays here. There's the Afterburner. I'm going to chain Gaios just to negate. Otherwise, I lose it anyways. Might as well get the negation effect off. And that's monsters currently on the field with attack less than Gaios. So anything with 2800 that is currently on the field when the effect is activated will have the effect negated. Unfortunately, it doesn't count anything that will be in his control for the remainder of the turn. So he's just going to easily go ahead and tribute that out. Or I should say, just link exchange, if you will, for the Kagari. And really, my only protection at this point is just the Link Karibo. And then he's going to use Startup Engage to search the Widow Anchor. Add that to hand. Feeling pretty good about his position. And uses that extra draw there to actually dig himself into Blue Boy. So this is the Spellbook engine being used in very good fashion here. I'm going to clear the Blue Boy off with the Spellbook of Knowledge. Draw into 2. Looks like he drew Metal Foes Fusion. And perhaps one other card. I'm not entirely sure what it is. But he's got plenty of spells engraved. Boosting up that Kagari by a couple hundred attack points. Looks like maybe 400 attack based on what I can see. And then I'm going to go ahead and attempt to attack over Linkuriboh. I'll be forced to just tribute to drop its attack to 0. Why risk taking any battle damage when I don't really have to? So what sucked earlier, though, is I lost that Twin Twister without being able to fully take advantage of it. He does have a set Widow Anchor and Metalfoes Fusion. Multi-roll is going to get activated, setting Startup Engage and Afterburners. And then I'll go ahead and draw for turn. Need that top deck and draw Moray of Greed. Pretty unlucky there, if you ask me. Could have been literally the only card, literally actually probably no card I draw helps me. If you want to say, oh, if you were playing Seconds Light, it would have been a little better because I would have at least gotten you 2 draws and him no way to negate it. But even if I have a card like Prince, he has the Widow Anchor. He just steals it on summon. I think Prince is literally the best possible card I could have drawn to at least try to make a comeback. And at that point, it just gets Widow Anchored, and there's not much we can do there. But like I said, I'm going to be trying to play different decks. I think this is something I just want to do. I just really want to play Photons. I've been really excited to play those. Just get some more variety on the channel and not upload so much Mermail, even though I do love the deck to death. I would just want to, you know, I don't want to drown you guys with that stuff. Even though you do like it, I want to try to introduce some more things here and there, like Spellbooks, I said. I'm going to be playing that very soon. Hopefully I'll have the deck to be playable somewhat on stream with proxies and stuff, IRL, and hopefully have the full deck built within, you know, by next week time. And Invoke Cyber Dragon was another deck I was thinking about playing, as well as Photon Galaxy, especially with Hyperstar coming out in the next set, Cybernetic Horizon. Really looking forward to that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Much love, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your day. And yeah, thanks for watching. Winter Kill signing out. We'll see ya in the next one.